partner has chlamydia. I haven't tested yet. Am I worrying too much? My partner, 20F tested positive for chlamydia and we have been together for 6 months. Have sex maybe once every 2 weeks due to living situations. Every time it has been with a condom except for when she's given me, 21M head a couple times, but I eat her out pretty much every time we have sex. I haven't had sex with anybody else before, so I know I haven't given it to her. However, we did have sex for the first time like 9 months ago. I honestly don't care about the infidelity part right now. I do trust her a lot and I'm aware it can go undetected for ages. But I mean, if it's 99% certain she's cheated, you guys can tell me lol. More than anything though, I'm just very panicked. I'm just wondering what the worst case scenario is. Say if I got it the first time we had sex 9 months ago, and it's been untreated since then, am I fucked, or is there still a good chance that it will cure from the antibiotics? Also, do I have kind of a low chance of getting it given our sex life? Hopefully someone can put me at ease. I'm getting in touch with my doctor when they're available tomorrow. Too long didn't read. My 20th partner of 6 months, who I also had sex with 3 months before that, has chlamydia and I, 21M haven't tested yet. No unprotected penetrative sex but frequent oral sex. Kind of panicked. Am I going to be okay even in the worst case scenario? Dude, just go to your local urgent care and tell them you've been exposed to chlamydia. It happened to me. Even as a US citizen without health insurance at the time, they handled it within 30 minutes. I think it was like $5 to fill the antibiotics prescription. Solve step 1 before you worry about step 3. As far as STDs go, chlamydia is a pretty nothing one, especially for men, especially if you get it treated. You easily could have had it for longer than 6 months. You can easily treat it with some antibiotics. The biggest issues you see tend to be women who don't get it treated and then have infertility issues. Most people with chlamydia don't actually have symptoms at all. Most cases are picked up as part of routine female healthcare. Get your cervix checked. While they're up there anyway, quick swab for chlamydia. Oh, and I assume this was the case, if she wasn't a virgin when you met, particularly if she's had any unprotected sexual contact, it's entirely likely that's where she picked it up from. It's not serious for men generally. Get your test. Do the treatment if you need to. You should also make sure both of you are tested for other STDs. If you're worried about infidelity, and hey, it's hardly unreasonable given the circumstances, an honest, non-accusatory conversation about how and when she might have got it would be entirely reasonable. In general, your partner's sexual history isn't something worth exploring, but if they're bringing an STD to the party, then you need to protect yourself. As a tip for the future, when you're embarking on a sexual relationship with a new partner, both of you popping down the doctor for a quick STD screen is a good idea. You should definitely get tested. Chlamydia can be transmitted to the throat through oral sex and vice versa. You'll need to get treated, but it's a round of antibiotics. Lots of places will treat you even before your test results are back because it's so infectious. Long-term risks for males in the reproductive organs are minimal. It's much worse if you have a uterus. As for it being in your throat, it's not ideal, but I'm not aware of any long-term consequences. Wouldn't hurt to see a dentist a few weeks after treatment though. I'm 99% sure I caught my brother's M32 girlfriend, F22, cheating on him with her ex. So a little background first. This is my brother's first serious relationship. First girl he has brought back to meet the family and first girl he has ever talked about with us. He's a closed book when it comes to his personal life. In his younger years he was always in trouble with the law and with drink and drugs, but thankfully he is 10 years sober now. She is a lot younger and we don't know that much about her, but she seems to make my brother extremely happy and he has the best outlook on life right now. What we do know is that she was in a turbulent relationship with a guy who eventually ended up in jail on drug charges. My brother works overseas, 3 weeks at a time, and is home for a week, but due to COVID has only recently gone back to work after months at home. She officially moved into his place last week, Me and my partner helped with the move and everything seemed perfect. So on to what we saw. Yesterday evening while driving home I spotted her ex, who recently got out of prison 2 months ago, out walking his dog at 10 p.m, no big deal, right? Around the next corner we see my brother's girlfriend walking towards her ex, curious to if she would talk to him, just walk on past or need a ride. Out of an awkward situation I swung a U-turn. No sign of her and her ex still walking in the same direction. Again I turned around and now he was gone. Out the corner of my eyes see him walking behind a row of closed commercial buildings. I'm sure I seen her too but couldn't 100% confirm. I drove up and down a couple more times to see if I could see them but nothing. We kept a lookout for 30 minutes and decided to go home. On way home we passed my brother's house, lights and TV on to make it look like she was still in. I couldn't rest when I got home and felt sick. Then the thought came into my head that maybe her ex followed her and she might need help and she was trying to hide from him. So back into the car and drove back to where I last seen them. Lo and behold, I seen both walking from out behind the commercial building, hugged and walking off in separate directions. She spotted the car and was like a deer caught in headlights. This was 11 p.m. now and a full hour's seen I last seen her, and I'm 99% sure she was cheating on my brother. So my dilemma is, what do I do? Do I tell my brother while he's at work, risking him relapsing, or quitting his job to come home early? Wait to tell him in person 2 weeks from now. Confront her? I'm so torn and I can't sleep and feel ill every time I think about it. Any advice? Too long didn't read. Seen my brother's girlfriend having a late night meet up with her ex. How do I approach this? Sounds less like cheating and more like drugs to me. Agreed. If I'm reading the story correctly, I am to understand op suspects they boned in an alley or something, with the dog on a leash. I would hold off on mentioning anything to your brother. He is working away, without a support system and has a history of addiction. If either they break up or he assumes the worst, he could be in a vulnerable place and fall back on bad habits. Right now all you have is them seeming to meet up with a dog and go behind a building, then come out 20 minutes later, hug and go on their way. It is sus but doesn't necessarily point to cheating. After all, your brother is a long way away. There are plenty of more comfortable places to go for a hookup, including his house. The ex has been out of prison a few weeks. It could be a storage locker with his stuff or something else she was holding for him. A drug deal, a dog walk and catch up. Plenty of other possibilities. Innocent or not, I'm sure she's aware it would look bad, so her expression/panic doesn't count for much. I would wait for your brother to get home. Just lay out what you saw without any speculation. Talk to her and see what she says. Hold up, you barely know this GF, but somehow you recognize her ex, who's been in prison, from a distance, while driving. Please make it make sense. Tell your brother exactly what you saw. Where he goes from there is up to him. Wouldn't you want someone to tell you? It's tricky because she's in a side relationship with a druggie, but has completely unrestricted access to all your brother's property while he's away for weeks at a time. It won't take long until things start getting misplaced. It's my fear if I confront her. My 21F mother-in-law doesn't want me to live with my husband, 27M, even after we got married. My husband comes from a very religious and conservative family. We used to live in different countries and the plan was I would move to his country. We got engaged quite quickly after starting to date, but soon after that I got ill and required several surgeries. When I was diagnosed, we got married. This way I could go to his country to get the surgery. I do have free healthcare in my country, but he has more money than me and therefore he could rent an apartment near the hospital for the days I could go back home, hired assistants when he couldn't be with me. He spent every single day with me. And the thing is, I'm really happy. Now I'm fine, and I've seen how he treated me in the moment I was more vulnerable. His mother also helped me a lot and I think we get along fine. But here is the thing, she doesn't want me living with my husband. When we got married we just signed the papers. We didn't have a wedding ceremony. She says it's like we are not married. Therefore now that I'm fine I shouldn't be sleeping or living with my husband. We made an exception because I was ill. Now I should look for my own apartment until we get married. Problem number 1, she wants a full ceremony. This would take us at least 11 days, 4 days for the wedding plus 7 days that we are supposed to stay home and not leave because it's a tradition. My husband/fiance, I don't even know what to call him, can't take 11 days off work right now. It would take us a month to get married. He has been with me during the months where I needed care. He needs to be back at work. Problem number 2. This is holding me back. I want to settle everything down, find a house/apartment for us, and get settled in my new life as a married woman before looking for a job. Why? I feel like I'm in a new country, even if I have been here for months, and I need to feel settled and secure before starting looking for a job. Problem number 3, I find this ridiculous. Like, me and my husband have been sleeping together this whole time except after surgeries where I needed rest. So I just don't see what's the point. I mean, I understand where she is coming from, but I just find it ridiculous. Following this demands means we won't be able to get married until a few months from now. This means I have to live alone during this time, and it is holding me back. What should I do? I don't want to offend her, but at the same time I don't want her to dictate our lives. How do I deal with this? Too long didn't read. I got married to my husband so I could get treatment in the hospital. Now I'm fine and my mother-in-law says we shouldn't live together until we have a proper ceremony, which would take us months. What should I do? What does your husband say? That's actually the only important thing here, not your Mill's opinion on the topic, and you haven't mentioned what's his view on this. I mean, he is fine with whatever it is I want. He says it's up to me. If it was for him we would be living together and we wouldn't even celebrate the ceremony. His mom is giving this decision to me for some reason, so now I'm the one deciding. What you and your husband do is your business and none of hers. If you and your husband are living in your own place, she has absolutely no say in the matter. The two of you are adults who can make their own choices and she needs to butt out of it. What you and your partner choose to do together is nobody's business but you and your partner. First, you talk to your husband to make sure you're on the same page. Then, he tells his mother something like, "Sorry mom, but living apart just isn't going to work for us right now." What does he have to say about all of this? Why can't he say to her, "We're doing this our way," and tell her to stay out of it? If you're married, you're married. My husband told me he'll do whatever I want. If it was up to him he wouldn't even have the ceremony. I want to have a ceremony in the future, but meanwhile I want to live together. It's my decision and he would accept anything I told him. I just don't want to ruin my relationship with the Mill. You're married to your husband, not your mother-in-law. Who cares what she thinks?